I did my home loan through West Tigers membership partner, Bellevue Capital Financial Services. The service they provided me was excellent. They saved me thousands of my monthly repayments and showed me how to pay my home loan off sooner. If you want the best rate in the market for your loan, contact Bellevue Capital today.
We're joined today by West Tigers head coach Michael Maguire. And Madge, we see you've got a little friend that's come on board in isolation.
How are you, Dan? I've got my three kids, and they've managed to talk mum and dad into getting a little puppy. So a new addition, but he's a good little thing, and he's a great little friend for the kids in isolation. So a bit of fun.
And have we got a name? What's the little puppy's name, Madge?
Young little Bailey, it is. So,
yeah, nice.
The kids had a fair argument over that one to try and get it sorted out, but we had we ended up coming up with Bailey.
For you, Matt, I guess we've heard a fair bit from the players about how this isolation time's been. I guess for you, mate, how has it been? How's it affected things for you so far?
The biggest thing is I miss my players, and to be honest, all the staff. The interaction that we have when everyone walks into the office, that's just it's a massive energy that comes together, and I think that's the biggest thing that you miss every day in isolation, and everyone's going through it in some way. Whether it's you work in an office and those sorts of things, it's the interaction with people. But I guess with technology now and similar things to doing what we're doing right now, is that we're able to talk to each other. And I've spent a lot of time talking to players. Zoom has definitely become a big part of the coaching tool, which is obviously useful. And I've had the spine together, spoke to many of the players one-on-one, and really just keeping in touch and making sure that everyone can get through this period, because we all know that we'll get through the other side. It's just a matter of when, and that's making sure that the players are motivated, and not that they've needed a lot of motivation at the moment. They've really been enjoying a fair bit of banter with all the technology we got with WhatsApp and things like that, but they've been able to sort of keep each other honest and training in the background. So looking forward to when the opportunities, when we get back together.
Yeah, I was going to ask, Madge, I guess how's that Zoom? You speak about having to go online with lots of different things. I guess how have you had to change things as a result of not being in the facility together?
Yeah, you have a lot more one-on-one. I think being able to multiply quickly when you've got the whole team in front of you and just talking to them about what we need to do moving forward is probably the challenging part. But in saying that too, actually the one-on-ones I've quite enjoyed. You get to talk a lot more around their family and what they've been up to, and you're finding out a little bit more about the person and the player, which is really enjoyable. It's one big thing that I always like as a coach, is that you get to be able to find out what goes on in the background. I mean, the times that they come to training, they're very focused on, the training itself and what we need to do on the weekends, but when we're playing games. But these are the times now where you get to find out a little bit about, how they've been brought up and, their family and, what the challenges of each family are having. There's many of challenges that we're all having in a different way. So to be able to just be a bit of a voice and having a chat to the players has been really nice.
For you, Matt, I guess, you obviously quite like your fitness and coming into the gym as well early in the morning. How's that been for you, Matt? Have you got a little setup in the garage as well?
I was able to get the leftovers from what the players left in the gym. So we've got a little bit of stuff in the gym there that allows me to get up early. And the big key is the routine. I think that's one thing we've said to players, and I think it's to everyone, is that trying to find a routine that allows you to get up, because it's very easy to sleep in a little bit longer and find that you're sitting around rather than being active and doing the things you're doing. And I think that's a real key through these periods, is that find a routine that works for you. And it might be a phone call each day that you just got to talk to someone. That's probably the best thing about what I have, is that I can talk to all 36 players within the squad, my staff. We've had great banter with staff in our Zoom meetings. From our old boy Ronnie, he's always got a classic joke that keeps us all entertained, to everyone just trying to think of different ways that can get us through this period. So it's been actually enjoyable, to be honest, because you're learning a lot about each other in a different way.
We saw the commission's kind of come out and said that May 28 date now.
Yeah.
I guess how important was that, first and foremost, to kind of have a bit of an idea about when we are going to be likely heading back into some footy?
Yeah, it's been really good for the players and the staff and everyone, because I guess one thing we have been doing is sort of floating a little bit at the moment, and there's so much noise and information out there about what could happen and possibly happen. But at least with the date now, it gives us a real focus on being able to have targets and making sure everyone's ready to go when that time comes. I think they're talking about getting back on the 4th or the 6th of May to be able to get back into a bit of training, which would be nice. But we also understand that we need to go through all the right process and the health requirements through those things to get to where we want to get to. But it has really shifted everyone. And you can really feel that in the conversations, which has been good because, I think we all need something that we can focus on. And as players and coaches, we get that every week. So we're missing out on our fix at the moment.
I think there was a bit of talk early on about how long a preparation the guys would need, between coming back, whether they'd need like another mini preseason. And when we're talking to Chris McQueen and he said, Madge always says we'll play on the road if we have to. Is that kind of the mentality that you kind of just, at the end of the day, it's, we just need to get footy back.
I think the players, we all know how much the players love the game and how much they want to play. And I guess I'm no different. The fact that I get to see a team run out there each weekend, it just makes you realise how special those sorts of moments are. And I guess if that's the thing that we can take out of everything that we're going through at the moment is the gratitude and all those sorts of things that, everyone in some way will go through that because we all know that there are tougher areas in the world and, people are going through some really tough periods at the moment. But for us, I think the players, it's their responsibility to be ready. Look, there is a period of time where we need to get back to training because it's very difficult as an individual to be able to hit the same intensities and those sorts of things that you have when you're with the team. And the body's a lot Ferraris now. They're so finely tuned that it's a hamstring or a quad that may tear through the fact that all of a sudden we're doing high speed meters. And a lot of people that sort of don't understand the art of, I guess, the coaching is that it comes down to I've got people managing every single day so they know exactly where all the bodies are. And, Andrew Gray, he's been around for years and years and he's a specialist in that. But I've also got Steve Hooper that does a lot of gym work, Ronnie Palmer, Aaron Scully, young Jess. We've got some really good staff there that manage and monitor these players. So to be able to get them back within sort of, in a window of being able to play, it'd be nice to be able to get a couple of weeks. But as I said to the players, if we can get playing this weekend, well, we've got to be ready. It's our duty to be able to do that.
Speaking of footy, I guess 2 games into the season, a really kind of tough, gritty win over the Dragons and then a disappointing one against the Knights. I guess, what did you take out of those first 2 weeks of the season, that you'll look to kind of take throughout the rest of the year?
Yeah, there were a lot of positives, but there's a lot that we need to work on. I understood that. It's obviously would have been nice to be sitting here with 2 from 2, and I thought our second game we definitely lacked in areas which we hold, at a high standard. So they're things that we'll obviously talk about when we come back in. But I understand that we've got a few new combinations, and we've got to make sure that they're right for when we come back, because no matter what the season will look like moving forward, whether it's a shorter version, longer version, who knows? We don't know. So we've got to be ready. But I think one thing that the players, or what I did see within the players, is the connections and the strength of the relationships of the group. And that's one thing I've been seeing at this present moment, in the background of players talking and chatting, and whether it's a laugh, those sorts of things are happening in the background.
Obviously, a couple of disappointing injuries at the start of the year with no Luke Brooks and no Moses Mbai. I guess having those 2 back and having Harry Grant come in, will be a pretty big boost around that May 28 return.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously senior players in Brooksy and Moses. A lot of experience there. And young Harry, he's going to put some great presence in and around the 9, and there's going to be some good little battles there about which way we have to go there. But he's a quality 9, and we've got young Billy Walters that he put some good performances and periods throughout those games that we've seen, and so we've got a few options, and that's the key to obviously what I'm trying to build here at the club is competition within, and that's all we need to focus on. We just got to concentrate on what we've got to do to make sure that each week we can turn up ready to play, and I'd like to think that the players are doing that right now.
It must have been such a bizarre time for Harry, I guess, that kind of coming up from Melbourne. It finally got done, and then he watched, was there at Leichhardt for that game against the Knights, and then unfortunately the next day that the comp got called off. I guess, had you had much of a communication with him around that, or?
Yeah. I've spoke to him. I've spoke to all players quite often and checked up. And I think Paul Momorowski was probably in a very similar situation going down. And then, within a week he came back, and I got in contact with him, and we got him a little bit of gym gear and those sorts of things. Because he's still a big part of what we're doing. And for Harry, I think he was just excited. I think from the excitement of seeing the opportunities that he's at a club, or was at a club that has some pretty quality dummy halves there in the two Smiths. So he saw an opportunity now where he could come up and get some game time, and he needs to do that through his performance, as I talk about. But I think he's very very keen to get down here and get playing, just like all of us.
Hopefully a couple of weeks until the guys are back training and the staff's back and everyone's kind of back. I guess, what do you do between now and then to kind of get everyone ready?
I've enjoyed a lot of time, I suppose, just looking at games. I've seen the first two rounds now, and I've looked at what we may need to fix when we come back and alter and hang on to. So I think, my time, whilst I've had a bit of spare time here, is just watching old games. I've gone back to 2013 and 2012 and looked at teams I've coached. I've looked at a little bit of Wigan, of what I've done over there, and just finding little ways that I can improve the group. And, I'm looking forward to being able to bring that back to the boys and put that in front of them and go, look, how do we utilise this moving forward?
You know the boys pretty well. Who's going to be the most excited for that first training session back?
Oh, look, I actually think everyone. Talking to the boys, there's not one that isn't keen to get back and playing. They do, I genuinely mean they do miss each other, and the banter that they've had is something special. But I think just that moment when we get to walk all into the gym, and that's going to be a moment in itself. The fact that we're back and the world will be trying to get itself back into some form of normality. I think that's the key. And if we can start doing that and getting the teams back together, then I think that's a sign for the world that we are moving in a direction towards where we want to get to.
So what I heard there, Madge, was Josh Reynolds is going to be the most annoying. Is that correct?
Look, I'm sure it'll be one of them. There's definitely a few. I think Harry Grant's going to be a character as well. No doubt, BJ, he'll put his banter in there, but I think Benji will probably be up there with most of them as well. He's like a little kid.
Yeah, nice, Madge. I guess for you, mate, just lastly, away from footy, I guess it'd be nice to be, around the kids and back at home with everyone. It's kind of tough at the moment. You can't really go anywhere, but I guess, having more family time is always a good thing.
Yeah, I think everyone's probably realised that, and talking to friends and family and even the players, that's one thing that we've all probably taken out of this moment in time, is that we've actually had some quality time with the people we love and our family members, and the ones that you probably haven't got in contact with over some time, you've done a little bit of that as well. You tend to live on the phone a fair bit at the moment with the conversations you have and the people that you probably haven't been able to get in contact with for a while. So that's a special time, and no doubt we've got another couple of weeks before we actually get back together again, and we'll have some good conversations around how it's going to look when we come back. So that'll definitely be going on in the background.
Well, Madge, I really appreciate your time today. Thanks for taking us inside your home and letting us kind of have a bit of a chat and update. Hopefully we're back playing nice and soon, mate.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. Hopefully the little pup won't rip apart the house. We'll see how we go. Thanks.
Yeah, perfect, mate. Thank you, mate.